Facebook just announced Home for Android, an app that turns your lock screen into a constantly updating news feed from your friends. That's a big deal, but it also announced chat heads, notifications from Facebook Messenger that show up on top of any app you're using on your Android phone. Facebook realizes it needs to win big in the messaging space, even if that means putting your friends' faces inside every app you're using. This is the future of Facebook messaging.
One thing that you may not know is that Facebook as a company, we pretty much run our entire company on Facebook groups. We don't use mailing lists. There are over 400 million active groups on Facebook. 80 million of those groups are secret. And so dovetailing off that, we said, well, how else can people connect more privately?
Private sharing is like a really, really important thing for Facebook. And I think things like status updates and photo posts and stuff in newsfeed just gets way more visibility. So people, I think, only think that we think about newsfeed and these other things. But, you know, a lot of people don't like to share publicly, and a lot of people, and that's totally fine. We're not saying, hey, everything has to be public, and like every time you send a message, we're gonna like throw it in newsfeed or something. Yeah, like that's not it at all.
So we started focusing on this. We started growing the team. First we did the Beluga acquisition a couple of years ago, and we've grown a team around that to now where we have a ton of people thinking about the problem from different angles.
As Facebook put more thought and resources into developing intimate experiences, it began to focus more on its users' most intimate devices, their phones.
So last year we did this really awesome thing where we took mobile and we became a mobile-first company, which means every single team at Facebook builds their own mobile experiences, right? So there's not one mobile team that's central. It's like, hey, I want to put a feature request in. It's like, no, the messages team is responsible for the holistic messages experience on web, on BlackBerry, on iPhone, on Android, everywhere.
I think Snapchat is really awesome. Like, we're all super addicted to it, and we think it's great. I think there's a lot of other people who are doing really cool things, and I think phones are becoming way more pervasive, and everyone has them, and if not, everyone's going to be getting them.
Not only did Facebook realize it needed to focus on mobile, it also started to embrace the nature of the best and most popular mobile software, simple, single utility apps. But Facebook thought something was missing when you're siloed away inside of those apps, your friends.
We'd always talked about how like apps with messaging components are always the best. And so it's like, oh man, why doesn't Chrome have like a built-in messenger or something? And it was me and another designer named Brandon Walken, and we worked from home on Wednesday one time, and we weren't even working on like messaging, but we just had some ideas around messaging. So we just like stayed up that whole day and all night, and like my other roommates worked here, and they were always coming in and being like, yeah, what are you guys working on, and all this stuff. And we actually just worked like around the clock for like 2 days on this idea, and basically had the whole chat heads idea fleshed out at that point in time. It all starts on the phone. We invest a ton at Facebook in really awesome design tools that allow the designers to prototype everything. So at the end of that second day, like Brandon and I had working prototypes of, in a sense, a lot of the interactions that existed today.
For years, the best mobile Facebook experience has been on the iPhone. But as Facebook's ambitions grew, so did its desires to focus on a platform more flexible than iOS.
We got the original video from our designer Joey Flynn and Brandon Walken, and then just kind of saw that it was really cool and tried to actually implement it like they made that video.
We think that social and people should be part of the phone, and Android is a platform that lets us enhance all different parts of the phone.
Before this, I had only ever worked on iOS products, and I used an iPhone, and I wasn't super familiar with Android, but I'd always heard these horror stories, and everyone kind of always makes a big deal like it's going to be inherently worse because it's on and like the touch latency and everything. And I think if you think that, then that's what will come out of it. But we were just like, oh yeah, this has to be the best possible experience we built. And if it requires rewriting like base level views, like, you know, scroll view and you know, like list view and all of these things, like pager, we spent a long time making our pager really great, then it just feels like it's a great experience on any phone.
We spent so much time digging through the Android source code, trying to figure out, you know, how to use the simple compositor, how to not drain battery, all this kind of stuff, and it was pretty intense.
We built like an entire physics engine that everything runs off of. It's more like your app is built like a game as opposed to your app built with like these app components. It is interesting, just like even using the word Android-y, it has like a lot of these baked in things where you feel like it has to fit some certain aesthetic or have some certain kind of like patterns that it evolves around. But Android is a great platform for us, and we're like, hey, we're not going to try to make this thing feel Androidy for the sake of making it feel Androidy.
People see the chat heads feature, even employees inside the company, and be like, I would actually get an Android phone now so I can get these chat heads because they're so cool. So that was pretty gratifying for me too.
The problem that we're trying to solve, on Android we can solve it 100% of the time, right? Because we can have chat heads available in other apps. People are still spending 20% of their time in Facebook for iOS. So we can solve that problem for them for that 20%. Clearly, we'd love to be able to bring that experience to other apps as well. And Android is a platform that lets us enhance all different parts of the phone and bring that social layer and bring people first. So yeah, I definitely think using this is the best version of Facebook that I've ever used. And it makes my phone like alive and feel social.
The open nature of Android allows Facebook to create a private messaging experience layered on top of all other apps on your phone. Facebook wants to be wherever you're chatting with your friends, and today, that place is increasingly mobile. This is just the beginning of Facebook taking over your phone.
There's an interesting thing about chat heads, which is that provides a lot of more opportunities that I think no one has been able to explore yet, just because I think this is kind of the first of its kind, is being able to integrate with other apps. So you could say, if you're in Maps, you could pick up the map and just drop it to a there's a lot of opportunities to do really cool stuff like that.
We're just scratching the surface of the potential of what we can do in integrating with Android to really make it a communication hub and something, again, that feels alive and like your friends are with you on screen. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we can do in the future. It's exciting.
Oh yeah.